said, I think at the last in sentence the other day, he said that even people who are well learned will send stuff to him and say, "Is this true?" Right? So why don't they go to the source? Everything is on PBCJ. Everything is there. Everything is on JIS.
But that's
I
a
think
mistake
I
we're
don't
making.
know.
That's a mistake we're making. We're hoping that person will go to the
That's
source.
exactly
Not,
I was
not,
going to
not,
say to her.
not heavily charged political
Hey,
environment
I'm
that is
good.
nestled with propaganda. You cannot win a fight by hoping that people will come to you for the correct information. Yeah, us who are more politically inclined or who are connected politically, we will go to the source. But the average Jamaicans, you have to bring it to them. Heart has been around for years.
Correct.
Why is it they're
Correct.
taking a new initiative now to bring the services of Heart to the youngsters as opposed to them going to Heart? Because we know that people don't normally go to where correct information is. Matter of fact,
But
propaganda is
chaps,
easier to sell. Yeah, go ahead.
how do we deal with the instant gratification though? Because I think that's a big problem for the younger generation
There's
because
some things in life you can't
everybody,
change, you know. There's some things you just can't.
every
Example, for example, one came on the
people
live
think that them fi go
yesterday
to work,
and he
them fi go
said
to work
that,
one month.
hold on, Chica, one came on the live and said, for the government to give you money, they have to wait until something goes wrong before them give you money. And I believe he's saying that money is like what is in the NIR, the government should be giving the people, just handing out money like that.
That's just misinformation and uneducated people. But a whole lot has been said. I wanted to jump in because
Was
when Empress was speaking a while ago, she made some very good point, and you guys jumped in, and you can see obviously that these persons are quite au fait with the role and functions of the Ministry of Information, especially when Nestor Morgan was the minister. And I was happy that I didn't have to even come in and clarify anything that was said there because almost everybody here was quite aware of what happened. And the truth is, I think persons are celebrating that yes, there's a shift, there's a change in the approach where communications is concerned. But ask yourself this question: has there been a change in the party's communication? There has been a change, obviously, in the government communications since Dr. Dana Dixon took over as minister. There's a shift. Why? Before Minister Dixon, Minister Morgan had two responsibilities. He had a dual role. He was the Minister of Information and he was also the Director of Communications for the party. So the same plane that dropped the bomb is the same plane that carried the food. So if a plane drops a bomb in a community and the kids look up and see that same plane coming back tomorrow, you think the kids are going to stand up to look at it? No. So when you put an information minister in a position where you have him playing dual role, you want him to be the bad cop in terms of the party, the politics. Because that's what the political side of communication is going to be. In most cases, the bad guy, the guy who will tell you what it is from the political platform. But then you want that same guy now to be the nice guy who comes and to say, hey, the ministers, the government is doing this, the government is doing that. Now, when you just drop a bomb Sunday after your council meeting, and then Wednesday morning you have post cabinet press briefing, and you come to be the nice guy, I mean, nobody's going to listen to you. So you end up with a polarized figure in the form of Nestor Morgan. Plus, if anybody understand and appreciate who Nestor is and where he's coming from, you would understand why it was difficult at task for him to even function within that ministry. It was a difficult task. He was coming from the communications director in OPM for the Prime Minister, Office of the Prime Minister, Director of Communication in the Office of the Prime Minister. That's where he's coming from to become the Director of Communication for the party. and simultaneously the Minister of Information. So it's a difficult task, and it's a task that, I mean, I don't want to go into the intricacies of it because I know a lot of things about it. I know why it could never function to its best the way it was structured. But I'm happy that most persons here are on the same page where that is concerned and appreciate. Nobody here can really say that the performance of both the Ministry of Information and the communication arm of the party was great. Nobody should say that because I don't believe it was. No, we see a difference now in the government side, and we are hoping that the party side of it will get the same boost. But if I may just take another quick second to address something that I hope you guys will observe, and it is to look at what the PNP is currently doing. And Empress, I listen to you a lot of times on Cliff Hughes. I don't know if you know, yeah, I don't know if you know this guy who calls Cliff all the time. Them call him Chris. You might have heard that name. But it's the same guy. It's the same guy here. This is the same guy here. So we play along on the same play field as in nationwide. But I don't know if you guys are noticing something, and there's something that you guys must take note of, right? Because I don't want us to get sidetracked in, in what was there. But I want you to notice something. The last,
I think he was getting a call.
Chops back.
Oh, disregard my question. That person was a spammer. Just
are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. No, I was saying to you that if you notice within the last 20 days that the PNP issued 11 press releases, and all the press releases were geared towards the Ministry of Health. Don't know if you notice it. 11
We see that.
press
And
releases
Gleaner.
in 20
I
days.
see it. I see it. And my brother and I big listen to me,
Every
Chris.
single arm
Listen. Okay.
of the PNP is activated and they are coordinated to attack one ministry, and that is
At
the
a time.
Ministry of Health. And it's not going to stop here, as Dr. Tufton said in his press briefing this morning, or yesterday morning it was. It's not going to stop here because right now the PNP has scheduled a meeting, well, not a meeting, a visit to Western Children's Hospital. And I know that they're not coming there to take pictures and to look at what's happening and to report on the positive things that is happening in terms of the building out of the hospital. They're coming there to dig for dirt, to find stuff that they can negatively tear down the government on. So we know that that attack does not end with the 11 press release that was issued. There's more to come. There's more coming. So we will now have to brace ourselves as persons within the social media space to deal with it and to deal with it with factual information. Because I tell you something, and I've always said this on every live, that when you watch a show, no matter how the bad guy look like he's on top of things and he's getting along and getting ahead, when the end of that movie, the bad guy always lose. There's very few cases, I can't think of any, where the bad guy come out on top. So good always conquer evil. So I'm saying to you that don't get dismayed, don't get discouraged. Continue to pile on the factual information on them. Because know that the propaganda is going to be curtailed. Know that there are going to be perimeters and boundaries and lines drawn in terms of misinformation. The PNP will have absolutely no leg to stand on. People like Reedy and the Akan and all those guys who sit on a platform every day. And somebody here said they're intellectually dumb. Is correct.
That was me. That was me, Chris.
Misinformation, disinformation, and sometimes outright lies. That's what people like them spread. So now that those things are no longer on the shelf, or will no longer be on the shelf, let's see them play ball in the space
Fair
where
game.
factual information will stand
Fair game
predominant.
now.
Let's
Yeah,
see
man.
if
Let's
they
see if
will.
fair game can
Yes,
prevail.
let's see if they will come now to the table. Because when I was on their platform, I went over on their platform several times and I begged them. I said, gentlemen, stop it. Do not have the discussion without having factual information in front of you. And I battle with them night and day. But it's not a group of people that you can really win because they're so nestled and they are so intoxicated on their own piss that it's not funny. And I say it with no apology. But so let's see them play ball now because the
I
playing field
wanted
is
to.
about to be leveled.
Dr.
Thank you.
Tufman also said that next week the PMP are planning to come out with pictures, mostly old pictures
Oh,
of
yeah.
the hospitals situation. They're claiming that it's happening now in the hospitals, but they are really old pictures that they will be posting. He said that based on his information, that's what he heard. That's the next
And
attack.
I
Can I ask
wanted
a question?
to
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask Chops, specifically. I think, or why don't we attack the PNP before they attack us? I'm not talking about in propaganda or for gutter. For instance, the hazardous thing that was kept in St. William's Grand Park over the weekend. The mayor's daughter was the headline on the platform. We should be asking questions because that is nepotism. What was it free? Was it taxpayers' money?
Was she paid?
What she paid? These are the
Yes.
things that we need to ask questions of them before they
But we
ask
have a
questions
role
of
to play in that,
us.
because the funny thing is you mentioned this now because I didn't even know of it. So we have
Right?
a role to play.
Yeah.
We have a role to play. And again, guys, another things I want to put you guys on notice for. There's a significant amount of PNP blogging pages and so-called independent pages that go around and spread propagandas and lie and libelous comment. When you find them, screenshot them, screen record them and send them come. Because you make no mistake about it. We will work overtime, night and day to find these son of a bitches and we will give them what they do deserve. Trust and believe.
I agree.
Leave
I'm tired
no
of it.
stone unturned.
Chris, I
I've
never
been
knew you
saying
were
this from
doing
Month
that.
Supper.
Chris, let me tell you something. I've been sending it to my brother for the longest time, and I go in their comment and I give them shit, and
Hold
I keep
on.
telling them they're
Hold on. In new
so.
information, the Integrity Commission submitted its annual report for 2023-2024, I think. Go ahead, Empress.
They have had hits. Are you talking about the Prime Minister's report?
No.
No,
Oh,
it's
oh, sorry.
The annual report from the
Because
Integrity
oh,
Commission,
I'm
which was
sorry.
due at the end of the month,
Oh, okay. Because
is
they
the
have
table.
his information for the longest time, and the other day Cliff asked the learned judge, and he said, "Oh, he'll release it pretty much on his time." Am I correct, Chris?
No, what he said was they will be released
S-
in due time.
In due time, yeah,
And
in
at the
due
end of the
time,
month, by the end of the month, the
yeah,
annual report will come to the House, which is what
yeah.
they're talking about now. But the annual
Yeah,
report, go ahead.
no, because I was saying that they have the information all, and the PMP is running with it that, hey, Andrew have not submitted all his information to the Integrity Commission, and they're like, oh, there's something he's hiding, and that's that big
Well, and that's a
misinformation.
libelous
And
comment as well.
it
That's a
is,
libelous comment because
it is.
if we
who
know,
said that?
no,
Um,
several persons,
Several
even on the
persons.
same live, even on the same guys over in Canada, they're live, they have it all the time, stating some people every now and then when
Reedy.
they have somebody to fact check them, they'll back up and say, "Oh no, it has been tabled but not verified." Listen, there are several persons who are out there with that argument, and I've listened to them. They talk about who own trucks and who own this and who own that and who have how many contracts. Even my name is out there by how
Yes.
many contracts. And
But Chub,
I'm waiting for them.
but
I have the
Chaps,
screenshots already.
Chaps, what I often look at, you see, I often look at this and I say, Then people not for work and buy nothing. People for just get them speak, them pay and spend out. People not for open up business. People not for invest in nothing. The Prime Minister for just come and just go back so. After time I do a job 24 hour 365 days, sometimes 366.
But
Just
you were
so.
somebody before you even enter representational politics. What are you
Right?
talking about?
You fi
So I'm
just
just
come
saying,
broke and papa and not
I'm
have no
just
knowledge.
advising you
Even
guys. When you see them out there
Mrs.
making these comments, make a note of it, pass it on to whomever, because let me tell you that every waking moment will be spent to track them down and to give them what they duly deserve. Trust and believe me. It is happening
Them a
already.
listen, them come, them they not on the live now. Some of
You've
them a
seen
listen.
5 lawsuits already coming from the top. Well, the ones
Right.
that are coming from social media, you don't see them yet, but they are coming. They are coming because the social media ones are a little bit more difficult
But
to
chop.
find.
The
One
British
thing.
are
Hold
The
coming.
on
British
now.
are
The
coming.
Chop.
Yes.
British.
Chop.
Yes.
Chop.
Yes.
Them bad and have a video of you and them something there, but they're showing their face, but their faces, but they're not giving their names and addresses.
But don't worry,
We're
we are getting
waiting
those
on
because
you people,
we are
and we
getting
can
it.
get
You
it without
trust and
that, you know.
believe.
We didn't
We
get
are
Philippians.
it, you know.
getting those names. We have some of the names already, and we are getting the
Philippians.
additional names,
Yes.
and we're verifying.
You
Some
know,
of them we
say,
find them house already. We find the house
yeah.
already. We see them in them house or
They
water
say
plants
she's a
already. We see them already. It's only a matter of time.
boy.
You know,
Them
say
Listen,
try.
and guess what?
99%.
Guess what? Some of them are local in Jamaica, and some of
Right.
them are overseas. And trust and believe, of the 7 that are on my list on social media, 7, 4 have already been identified. 4 from 7 has already been identified. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. For all of them who used to post people picture up and having no argument. Don't worry, the
Hello,
book
let
is
me tell
coming.
you something. You have cyber crimes that many of you are committing, defamation, we now scandal people and all of them something there. We not go get it.
Let
In
me
a
tell you.
civil
Let me tell you
court,
something.
it
Me have
goes up
one
to $1
pitney.
million,
Me
and many
have
of
one.
you not
I
even
have
have life insurance for $1 million. And
Philippine.
if them taking it to the Supreme Court, it can go
Philippine.
wholly
I
before
have
$1 million.
one.
And
I have.
defamation is based on the number of persons the information was exposed to. The judge will ask all of them something there, you know. So me a beg you now for retract and move for everything. But all me sorry for you.
Them not for move
Me
it. It's
sorry
already
for you.
screenshot and take off of them page. And listen, me tell you something. When I came into this earth, I came with nothing except my name. That's the only thing I know. And when I leave here, that's the only thing I want to leave here with my name. And I'll spend every dollar I have on this planet Earth to preserve my name. And the way me see them drag mine through social media the other day and deal with it. You trust and believe. I took it and I soak it up like a man. But as the PNP would have it, time come. Well, time come.
Good evening, everyone, again. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Loud and
Maybe.
clear, Joshua.
I'm
Okay.
hearing you loud and clear, Joshua.
Good evening,
Yeah,
Joshua.
so, oh, give me a minute. Go
But
ahead.
Joshua,
Go ahead. I'm getting a call.
Before you come in, I'd love for us. I'm trying to invite the Minister of Health to join us if he can. I'm not sure if he'll be able to join us. But I'd love for him to join us to sort of give you some context and for you guys to get a chance to really ask him a few questions. Because let me tell you something. When you have a political party that spend the last 20 days going after you the way they are going after Dr. Tufton, you realize that this is a targeted approach. No, folks, nothing is wrong with politicking. An opposition is there to undermine a government to try and get state power. Nothing is wrong with that. But when you start to attack the civil servants of this country, when you start to attack the persons who volunteer their service, because
Chops,
board
all on
chairman,
there. All on chops. Sorry for cut you. But why don't you remove the man what did they over something they cry nationwide? Tall man is him the dep on nationwide a cry for Mark. Why don't you remove him?
we're moving from where?
He was just in the comments about Andrew for call the election.
I don't
Okay,
know why you're
please.
removing him. I wouldn't
I
remove him.
wanted
Don't
I
remove him.
wanted to
Come up
ridicule
top.
him, you know.
The
Him
movie
I
come
man,
wanted to
they
ridicule.
must
He's
keep them
around
man. Don't lose them.
listening. He's listening. He's not
Yeah,
blocked.
man.
Him did over nationwide a ball for Mark and can't even
Don't
go him a
remove
buy
them, man.
chicken
Leave them
back.
in
Hold
the comment
on.
because
As Chops is saying, so we can make fun of Andrew Holness and we can make fun of Mark Golding. We cannot talk about defamatory things about either Mark Golding or Andrew Holness. You can criticize Mark Golding, you can criticize Andrew Holness. You cannot be
but,
spreading misinformation.
but not
You
only that.
cannot
When you
make
start
up
to
things that are not true. It's lies.
But not only that, Philippian, when you start to go after the civil servant, the civil service, the people who are
Right.
cemented to protect the integrity of the country, I'm not the first to tell you that I have issues with how some of these civil servants operate. But to attack them, to say that these persons must resign, the PNP attacked the police commissioner. They attacked the attorney general. They attacked the chief prosecutor, Paula Llewellyn. They attacked the permanent secretaries, both in the Ministry of Education. They attacked the one in the Ministry of Health, now Dunstan Bryan. They're attacking just about everybody. Dr.
CMO.
Dawes, who was a medical, the CMO who kept us grounded during COVID.
The
And you
CMO,
find
guess
it,
what condition the
the,
CMO has? Asthma. And she
look
was
here,
there on the front line during COVID.
I'm saying to you that when you reach that level of desperation as a political party, that you would seek to get state power by attacking the very people that if you were to gain state power, you have to work with. It tells you that you're dealing with a very desperate opposition. And when a man is desperate to that extent, he will hurt you. It becomes a dangerous individual. The political party known as the People's National Party has become dangerous and it is scary. Guys, you know what I'm sniffing? You know what I'm smelling? I'm smelling 1976, 1979. The ear is
Amen.
coming back. I'm dead ass
Amen.
serious. That is
Chopper.
the
That I've been
climate.
saying that. That's how I
That
feel.
is the atmosphere that Mark
That's how I
Golding,
feel.
that is the atmosphere that is being created now. When you start to attack the civil servant, you're asking for resignation, you're threatening people's jobs, you're bringing the country into disrepute. Why is it that Mark Golding would make a statement in 2022 that says he has renounced his dual citizenship, or he has not renounced his dual citizenship, he has given up his British passport? That's what the news report is saying, you know. The Observer has something there that says in 2022, Mark Golding announced or disclosed that he gave up his British passport. Fast forward to 2024, you are now saying that you have a British passport. These are questions that the leader of the opposition must answer. How can we run a country when the second man, the man who is in line to take office if he won an election, cannot be honest with the people? And we still have civil society groups, the Trevor Monroes, the Janet Calders, the Carol Nurses, all of these people, you don't hear them. Them
But he
numb.
say one thing and everybody run out chaps. You know see? One thing he
Yeah,
say and everybody out and stunting on Twitter. Everybody tail up in them back immediately.
I don't get it. When are we as a country are going to realize that there are some things that we just have to put politics to the side and deal with it up front? You don't hear them say nothing. The man
For
is
the longest
blatantly
while
lying to the Jamaican people.
I wanted to say to your chap, say even Gleaner, Sunday Gleaner, the article that they put on the front page, I wanted to say that they couldn't find anything. It was a poorly written article. Poorly written article they put on the front page about missing the deadline, NHT and the builder for the suite at the children's hospital, so they fall out, right? And that's what they put on the front page. Then them things are not happening all the time. We not change contractor when we are build we house all the time. Like,
But
what
look
you
at the
get here?
ventilator argument, no? Look at the ventilator argument. The first press release said that there were missing ventilators. Nobody know where they are. Ventilators were donated to Jamaica and they're missing. Then all of a sudden it changed to okay, they're not missing, they are not working. What is it going to be? You first you said they're missing. No, you said they're okay, they are here, but them not working.
And I saw something over their dreams saying that a baby was at the Mandeville, I think it was the Mandeville or Clarendon Hospital, whichever one. I think it was Clarendon, right? And they said that the baby needed the ventilator. They sent a ventilator there, but there was no staff there to operate it. And probably as I go over to Twitter, it was in the PNP's press release. I swear it was on their dreams, and by the time I switch over to Twitter, it was in their press release.
Needed effort.
PNP plan for break down Jamaica. That's what they plan to do. They, as the Prime Minister and Chops often say too, they burn the building down and rule over the ashes.
Oh yeah. Empress said something when she came in. She said a PNP country. And it might sound harsh. It might pierce the heart of some of the laborites, but there's some truth to it, you know. Because the PNP spend so much time in government.
The communist people them usually want to have a one state party.
But can I ask the question? If it's a PNP country, why did we win it? Why did the JLP won the last election?
Well, when I say PNP country, you have to understand how the civil service and how the governance structure is set. The PNP do things different.
Well, this is why when a party wins an election, they immediately get rid of those people if possible.
Well, you
Because
can and you should, but can I tell
ex-
you something? That's the difference between the JLP and the PNP. The PNP will move your desk out the office the morning after the election and kick your
exactly.
ass out. But the JLP just don't do that.
But this is what they're suffering now because all of those people who are in place
Oh
are
yeah.
now against them.
Well,
So
you set yourself up to fail because when you refuse to
exactly.
play with the same ball that somebody's playing with, I'm not saying that we have to go into the gutters and go into the dirt as much as they are, but there are some things that you have to do. In other words, you have to set yourself up for victory. You have to set yourself up to win. You cannot go into the game and expect to play the game that your opponent is playing the same pattern. You have to create your own. And when I'm saying this, I'm talking about specifically as it relates to putting people in strategic position that will support you. You have the talent, you
Exactly.
have people, you have good people who support the Jamaica Labour Party. But I don't know if we're doing enough to put those persons in positions that they can become effective and they can really help you. I don't think we're doing it. We're scared about it. PNP don't give a damn, you know. PNP is going to put Renz in a position, and if the position says Renz need a PhD and she only have a master's, PNP is going to put you in there with your master's, and they're going to make sure you get your PhD. They're going to put you in there, and they're going to fight for you. You're not going to get that on the other side.
Chaps, I heard somebody say something that when we were talking about when the whole constitutional argument was coming up and the Privy Council and all of that. Somebody said that back in why a lot of people, especially those who are in tune to history, don't want the CCJ is because back then only PNP children were able to get into law school, especially at UWI, and then they move on to other places in the Caribbean. You heard the first part what I said, chaps?
So while you wait on Chops to return, I wanna chime in on what you just said about the CCJ.
Yeah.
A tape was sent to me last night by a good laborite from Karen Cross, and I've never listened to her was
Live.
or live, right through and through, just snippets. And she said something which was very important. I mean, lots of what she said was important, but one other thing that grabbed me more than anything else was the fact that she said that the judges are there, and I'm just paraphrasing, to do the bidding of the PNP. In fact, she went as far as to say that TVJ is PNP news outlet. Now, this is a PNP who is saying this. This is what Karen Cross said on that live. TVJ is PNP news outlet. And she said that because of the way the TVJ news reporter went about carrying the news, because the
Disseminating
reporter,
the info.
well, yeah, right. The reporter just took the information from Dayton and did no investigation and just regurgitated it.
You know
Now
what
that's
grabbed me, Joshua? You know
right.
what grabbed me? When she went to the first hearing and they had no lawyer. Dayton had 3 lawyers and they told them they don't need a lawyer. This will be quick.
Right. You
That
know,
grabbed me.
right. And not only that, but how they went and they got the judge that they want from Montego Bay. Right. And it says to you, why is it that the JLP keeps losing in court cases? Mind you, it's only 3 so far, or 4, but nonetheless, it says that they usually get a friendly judge. Right. And we have to watch our backs, and that is why they're pushing for the CCJ. You notice what Karen said, which is something that we have said on this live over and over, that the people in England don't know anybody, so they have no connection. So they will look at the interpretation of the law and pass their judgment. In this region, because everybody knows everybody and they're cronies, they're friends, they're comrades in arms, then what they do, they don't just look at the interpretation of the law, but they look at who is in front of them.
And that goes back to my argument, Joshua, where I said back in the days that only PNP Pitney them used to get accepted in a law school.
And you're very correct.
Yeah, the
In fact,
gentleman said it.
I heard another gentleman one night was on a live. I won't call his name now because he has now converted to Labourite. But he, in his own words, indicated that he was once a comrade, come from a comrade family. Right? And he seems well connected. And he said the very same thing, that not only PNP's children, but anyone who PNP recommend, which is really their strategy. It's nothing new. I remember a PNP once told me that, listen, he was giving me a story. I don't know why he felt so comfortable to give me the story, but nonetheless, he was giving me the story about someone who needed a referral. And he said to him, which party you supported? And once the gentleman heard which party, he said, listen, go to this place. When you go there, look for this person, which is a high-ranking police officer. Just let him know you're a comrade. And the officer don't know the person, never met him before. And just let him know you're a comrade and you were sent by me. And he just went there, look at him, and just write the recommendation. That's it, full stop. Argument done. Right? PNP likes to talk about corruption. And it's embedded. It's the part of the DNA of their party. They know nothing but corruption. Right? And they believe, and it's really a communist way of operating. Communists believe on hanging on to power and ousting people if they have to get into power. That is why they use the term. You see this argument about being like Haiti? I don't want us to take it lightly, because they're not talking about the poverty, because they know we can manage the country. In fact, on one of Karen's live, either Karen or Natalie, I heard it mentioned that they already determined in their mind that they're willing to oust the government if they have to.
But it has been said it is something that they're spewing all about the place.
And that is what I'm saying. That is
And
what
if you
they have said
also
it in their own little circle, that they are willing to oust the government if they have to.
And if you also listen to Queen Ifrika, where she was saying that they are planning, the Maroons are planning to do their own thing as well. She did a whole live on it, and this is why she said she separated herself from Curry. She was saying Curry is causing a lot of problems, and one of the problem was the GUN.
Yeah.
that he was so interested in and making sure that the Maroons have that. And she was saying they are planning their thing, they are signing their treaty, they are doing this, they are doing that, just to make sure say them oust the government.
Right. In
She did
fact,
a whole live on it.
well, I didn't hear, but
But
you
it's
can send it to me.
Prime Minister's security is more. The police, he
No.
has more securities now.
Well, it is much more than that in the Philippines. The prime minister will be safe in one way or the other. But ousting a government takes much more than just the prime minister. You have to attack the armed forces in the country, right? So you have to consider that, and everywhere where you believe that you find opposition, once you're from the other side, you are now a target. Why you believe? One night I was passing a PNP live, and I'm telling you what I heard with my own ears, and I mentioned it before, where they said that, boy, when the labor right them lose, them a plan for war we, right? And I said it on Angel and I said it on our lives that what I believe that they're planning on doing is the same thing that we just mentioned a while ago. And when it happens, they get to point finger back at us and say, see it, me did tell you, when in truth and in fact it's something that they planned long time. Right? That is why you see this white man so friendly with the Maroons. Because he wants to rile up the Maroons and tell them how unjust and how wicked this
Yes.
government is
Then the Maroon
towards
meet
them.
with him at his office.
That's
He
the
met
point
with
that
them.
that's the point that I'm making. He's trying to befriend them, get them incensed against the government, and incite anger within them, and then say, "Hey, listen, man, this government, I mean, you're not good. You're so long." It is a white man strategy, you know. And anybody who wants to say, boy, I'm being racist, then go ahead. I will own up to it. This is not the JLP's position. That is mine, right? Because you guys have played the race card over and over. From manly days when you talk about my father Barnia, right? And then later on with Fresh Prince when he says black man time now, right? And it's because their feet is now in the water why it suddenly is a problem, right? Now I'm guilty of playing the same race card. I'm not apologizing for it, right? Now, a couple of things were mentioned, which I find to be pluralistic in nature. Not from you guys, but when I look on the landscape, you know, the not just political landscape, but those who support the other side, I find it highly hypocritical and pluralistic. The whole matter of the mudslinging that has been taking place, propaganda and blatant lies. Everyone was silent. You know, all of civil society. I remember at one point in time when someone was on Cliff Hughes and they asked Cliff, how is it that the civil societies are so silent? And Cliff said it's not their job to comment on matters. So the person asked Cliff,
Kevin O'Brien.
right? The person asked Cliff afterwards, but they have always commented. So why the silence now? And here it is, conveniently. Civil society was very silent when there was no action by the JLP to defend itself. Now the JLP is using the law not to go after the innocent, you know, but to go after the guilty. Not to go after those who are abiding by the rules, but to go after those who are contravening the rules and damaging people's character through plain lies. I won't even just use the word propaganda, but plain lies. Right? And suddenly civil society that had lost its tongue suddenly have a voice. And what it says to me that, what Asamba had said was very real. She said we formed some groups and we call them civic groups. But they are not civic group because we pack them with PNP because we have an agenda. And the agenda is to make sure that we have people on our side at all times so that we can always be in power. Right? So, we have to watch our head back and we have to ensure that we press every channel that we get. We
To add
press
to
and
what
we
you said,
press.
Joshua, when everything was happening, even everything was happening, nobody came out and said anything and said we gotta stop. this is not right, what is happening, nobody. But as soon as the PM say, we have to stand up on with 2 foot, everybody is out now. Oh, the Prime Minister is trying to censor this, the Prime Minister is trying to do that, freedom of speech. So where were they when it was the Prime Minister, when they were tarnishing the Prime Minister and everybody else's character? Where were they? So Ian
It,
Eels take the lady voice, go put in a video there, and I know say that a breach of the woman, all kind of privacy and all kind of something. I don't know what it is. I'm not a lawyer.
well, there's a fine lawsuit awaiting him, and that's all I'll say on the matter. I won't tell you anymore.
Yeah,
Fine
we
lawsuit.
see it. It released. It was released.
Okay. All right. So it's out in the public. Right? Right. Now, these people that call themselves civil society, they have no credibility, They have no moral credence to rebuke anyone, including their own children, because they have proven themselves to lack integrity. They are void of integrity. Right? Because as we said before, they were silent all along. In fact, I'll tell you something that I believe to be true. Right? I am of the view that the other party has said something to them. How many of you are familiar with the term sleeper cells? All right, so it seems very little, if anybody. Now,
What the term?
sleeper cells.
Oh, I
All
think
right,
I
so
do.
in communism, in communism, what they do, they have double agents, right? So there are spies who work for their government, most of the time the party, which is the Communist Party, right? And they would send them to other countries, appearing as if they are neutral, right? And sometimes they even go as far as to say, boy, they are seeking asylum, but they are really agents from the other side, right? And at the appointed time, then they
Because
would
those
be
are
active.
inactive groups, operatives,
Right,
for lack of a better word.
right.
For example, you have PNP people.
I'm listening to you, sir. Oh, chop seem to be gone again. Right. So, in other words, it is these are spies who work for the other side, who usually would be, as Chop said, inactive until the right time. Right? And they are only activated when there is a need, or they think there is a need. In this particular case, these so-called civic groups that are packed with PNP, not my own words, so they can't sue me for repeating what their own member said. Packed with PNP, when they think that there